semester. Well, this is going to be, you're all in. Skip a lot of that. Awesome. That's just good to know. So why don't we go to the next slide? And so something people ask, you know, there's apartments on South Campus that are part of the resident life system, and then there's South Campus Commons and the Courtyards. The main difference comes down to how you pay and who you pay. So when you're with your housing contract, everything kind of gets funneled through the university. If you have student loans and aid, they take that out, and maybe you get whatever's left over. But you really don't, you're not paying anybody directly at any point. And you are also, any facilities issues that you have are handled by residential facilities, as part of the University of Maryland. And so the main difference is that Capstone on-campus management manages South Campus Commons and the Courtyards, and you pay them directly. You pay them your installment payment, so nothing goes through your Bursar's account. One of the big questions that comes up after that is financial aid. Basically, it all comes to the university again, but since there's not that lump sum of your housing fees, you'll get a refund, and then you apply that refund towards your monthly, your installment payments at the time. Also, as in other apartments on campus, if you have a kitchen, you're not required to have a meal plan. Dining Services has expanded their offerings quite a bit, so if you still want to be able to use that, you can. And you don't have to move out during breaks, which I think a lot of students appreciate as well. So you would be in your apartment for 11, continuously for 11.25 months.
All right, so what's included and what's part of your apartment? One thing that makes it a really easy transition from the residence hall to South Campus Commons or the Courtyards is that there's no additionals, just like right now. You're paying for your housing for each semester, and that's it. You're not paying electricity, you're not paying water, you're not paying trash, and all those types of separate things that you can see at an off-campus housing location. Everything is included. So from the furnishings, everything is furnished inside the apartment. The only thing that you need to bring is a shower curtain and sheets for your bed, pots and pans, and those sorts of things. It comes, all electricity is included, water, includes the campus internet system as well, along with the campus cable as well. Kitchens are have full-size appliances, so you have a full-size fridge, dishwasher, microwave, garbage disposal. You don't have to walk down the hallway to wash your clothes. Everything is inside your apartment at South Campus Commons and the Courtyard. You have a full-size washer and dryer. And also, not that any of you use the old system phone anymore, but it's there if you wanted it as well. So, next slide. South Campus Commons houses about 2,195 UMD residents. Courtyards has about 720 residents. So almost 3,000 students live in both sites. Commons has a 24-hour service desk and 3 different building locations. Courtyards also has a clubhouse desk that stays open until 10 p.m. on school nights and 8 p.m. On the weekends. There's also secure building access in South Campus Commons. The Courtyards, and then if you all have never been there, it's more of a garden style open concept there. There's wall-to-wall carpeting. Some select apartments at Commons and Courtyards have vinyl flooring inside the common area. Your bedrooms are going to be carpeted. South Campus Commons location stretches all the way down from Building 3, almost near the downtown area, all the way to Prince Frederick, right here. So it's close to downtown, many shoppings, as you all know. The Courtyards is right across from the Xfinity Center. It also has some additional amenities. So there is a smaller fitness center there as well, where you can get a good workout, aerobic workout, or strength conditioning workout. It also has a rec room, pool table, ping pong, has a heated outdoor pool, open from first week in May to the second, third week of September. Beach volleyball court, and we also have some computers set up where you bring your own paper and print as much as you like. That's a little bit about what Commons and Courtyards offers. So, what site fits you? Again, location is going to be an aspect that you will have to think about. Just so you know, South Campus Commons does not have a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom apartment style. They have a 4-bed, 2-bath apartment style. Courtyards has the 4-bed, 4-bath. Also, there's a limited number of availability in studio, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom units. A lot of South Campus Commons is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath type. So if you all have this in front of you, if you guys want to look at page 3, it starts with some of the floor plans at Courtyards. Courtyards has 4-bed, 4-baths. They have 4-bed, 2-baths, 2-bed, 2-bath standards. They have a quad option, which is a shared bedroom option, and then they have a 2-bed, 2-bath deluxe. That's a larger of the 2-bedroom, 2-bath types. If you scroll to page 7, it starts with the South Campus Commons floor plans. So again, you'll see 488 apartments are 4-bed, 2-bath. There's 29 apartments that are 3-bed, 2-bath. We have 2-bed, 2-baths as well, 74 of those. Very few studios and 1-bedroom options.
One thing that we forgot to put on the last slide too is Courtyards is on the UMD shuttle route. It's on the 105. It's not called the circulator anymore. It's the connector, right? I take it like a fair amount, and it comes really regularly. So that's great. You can have your car on the property and then take the bus, basically all the way down here. So it's kind of a nice feature as well.
So at Courtyards, also, I think we're going to move to the next slide. Yeah. Well, real quick about the Courtyards, it also has, you're allowed to register 1 vehicle at the Courtyards at no additional cost. This is as a FYI, so you can park it there, 1 vehicle per resident. Obviously, just like Jenny said, we have the UMD campus connector bus system comes in every 10 to 12 minutes. During the morning hours, rush hour times, it comes more frequently. And during the kind of the off hours, later into the night, comes a little bit less frequently, 12 to 15 minutes. Again, you can see exactly when the bus is coming using the app on your phone. So, how much does all of this cost? Right now, we are in the part trying to figure that out, what the rates will be for 2020, 2021. And so those rates will be announced come towards the end of December, towards the beginning of January. Those rates will be announced. What you have in your guidebook is the current rates. So you'll see a little sheet of paper inside your guidebook that gives the current rates. So you can expect them to go up just a little bit. And then the dates on the back are obviously last year, so don't look at those dates, but you can kind of use that as an idea of the pricing of apartments. So obviously when you share a bathroom, then it's going to be less than if you have your individual bathroom to yourself. So how is this all calculated? Like I said, everything, your total rate is part of the calculation for this. So if you see this, you'll see, for example, the Courtyards, a 4-bed, 4-bath apartment costs $10,344. What we do is we divide that payment, that total amount, into 12 different installments. The first installment is due on August 1. The last installment would be due July 1. So August 1, September 1, all the way through July 1 of 2021 would be your last payment, unless you renew same bed, same apartment. So a lot of you in here are sophomores. You're going to probably be living with us your junior year, and then you may want to consider living with us again your senior year. If you want to renew same bed, same apartment, and not move, you don't have to move out and move back in during the transition period. So when everyone else is checking out at the very end of July, you get to stay there during the 2 to 3 week transition period. There will be some things that we ask for you to do. So if you have a person in your apartment moving out, you have to prep the apartment for the new people that could possibly be moving in. If no one's moving out of your apartment, you don't have to do that. And then we have a move-in towards the week before classes start for new residents. So like I said, you guys are allowed to stay there during that transition period. So we take that amount, we divide it into 12 payments. And so 862 times 12 is 10,344. That's how we figure all that out. So just so you know, we're going to be talking about open leasing a little bit later. But when you actually do sign a lease with us, you will be, there's a $300 lease reservation. That is not a fee. It goes towards your first installment. So in August 1, how I use the 4-bed, 4-bath as an example, you're going to actually pay $562 instead of $862. And then September 1, you're going to pay $862 and $862 each, the first thereafter. Does that make sense? Okay. So like I said, rates are being determined right now between us, Residence Life, and RHA. We actually have RHA meetings on Friday and Monday, and then once everyone agrees upon the rates, then they will be announced to you all. You can make payments by check, you can make a payment by money order, you can make a payment using your banking checking account routing number, setting up through our online portal system. That's the easiest and best way, because you can do it so it's recurring payment, so you don't have to remember, oh, it's October, December 1 coming up, I need to make this payment. You can already set it up to come out of a checking account. And you can, so those are the different ways. Obviously, cash is not accepted as a method of payment. So we wanted to do a utility comparison so you guys can see, as you're kind of looking around the different housing options, kind of how South Campus Commons and the Courtyards compares to the off-campus communities. So like we said, everything is included at the Courtyards and South Campus Commons. Since it's on campus at both sites, you have the university Wi-Fi system, the university cable system, so that's not going to change for you all. And then you can look to see what is included and what isn't included. So internet, phone, cable, water, electricity at some other places is not included in as part of your rate that you pay. So you're really getting, you need to consider all these things as far as the value when you're looking at places to live. So this is I know it's a lot to look at right there. So basically one of the things we wanted to look at is, so we have all the different places up top that are us, Courtyards, and South Campus Commons, and then everyone else. And you can kind of see what all the different things you need to consider when you leave the residence halls and factors that you'll have to pay. So electricity, water, Wi-Fi, cable, phone, application fee, security deposit, and other fees as well. So there are no other fees at the Courtyards and South Campus Commons. There is a $25 application fee one time. When you renew for your senior year, you don't have to pay the $25 application fee. There is no security deposit. Everything is included. So there's no other fees. There's nothing else hidden. And you can kind of see some of the other factors and things to consider from a pricing perspective. Some people I don't want to take pictures of the phone. Feel free to record that.
Great.
Any questions? All right, we'll move along.
More than questions?
All right, nope, there was just some cameras up still.
Oh,
All right. So now that you've been enticed into all the wonderful attributes of these properties, I'm gonna tell you about how you sign a lease. By and large, most students will sign leases at South Campus Commons and the Courtyards through the open leasing process. Basically, it's a big meeting over 3 days. This year it will be in the Grand Ballroom, where you go either by yourself or with your group, select from the available rooms, and then sign leases. The other ways to get in, if you are an on-campus rising junior, i.e. current on-campus sophomore, which also means in your probably your third semester now, fourth semester next in the spring, you can be pulled in by a current resident. Also, on-campus rising seniors can be pulled in by a current resident of either property. And you could also release in the spring. So students who are graduating, studying abroad, leaving for whatever reason, we'll be looking for students to take over their leases for the spring. And that's actually an opportunity to sort of skip the line as it pertains to open leasing. And as long as you sign your lease effective February 1st, you'll be able to renew or transfer and stay in the property without having to go through the open leasing, or pull your friends in too. It's kind of a nice option. So like I said, it's over 3 days, March 23rd, 24th, and 26th this year. And we'll be signing leases for the 2020-21 leasing year. So I talked a little bit about eligibility or priority. To be eligible, you have to be a full-time student, registered undergraduate student in good standing academically, financially, and judicially. What this means is if you have a friend who's transferring in the fall, they're not eligible to do this process. You have to be a current student in the spring semester in good standing. Does that make sense? You're not students. I get that question a lot. The way priority works, it's all about semesters. I know a lot of you are overachievers and smart and really want to get out of here fast. You might have enough credits that says you're a junior, but we really look at the semesters. When Commons and Courtyards came online, they were basically focused primarily on upper class students. First and second year students lived in the residence halls and kind of worked their way up to more independence and responsibility. So that's why we look at semesters and not credits.
If somebody like went somewhere else their freshman year, transferred here, and they're now living on campus sophomore, when would that place them?
That counts. So any previous, so basically we start the count after you graduate from high school, wherever you go. So if you spend 2 semesters at Towson and then come here for your sophomore year, this semester would be your third
You're still in the
semester.
first
as a
grade.
student. Yeah. Mhm. So it's always it includes all of your post high school college semesters. Does that make sense? Yeah, and let's go to the next one. So this is the priority order, kind of small. So on-campus rising juniors, in their spring semester, they are in the first priority group, because that's kind of the wave that we've been having them go in. On-campus rising seniors would be second, followed by all the on-campus groups are first. So juniors, seniors, sophomores, fifth-year seniors is like 5 of them. Not a lot of fifth-year seniors. And then after that, it would be off-campus students. Transfer is included in there more because they will tend to release through the summer. But if they're not currently a student here, they can't participate. So all off-campus students, no matter how many semesters they've been in college, they are one group in the fifth group. So if you have friends that are off-campus that you might want to live with, there could be some difficult conversations. Any questions about priority? I feel like this is where students get hung up the most. But you guys are all on campus rising juniors, right? So, I guess you're good. But yeah, if you talk to your friends, and we do encourage you either to invite your friends to future sessions or just tell them about this. If they have people off campus, or if you have friends in different groups, so if you have an on-campus rising senior as a friend that you want to live with, you would have to actually go to their appointment because later groups can't cut in line for open leasing. So if, so you think if you can kind of think of this as a line too, like first in line, second, third, fourth, fifth. Somebody that's fifth in line can't cut in front of anybody else. So if you are thinking about living with friends who are in different years than you, you would just have to figure out who has the worst priority, and you would have to kind of skip your appointment and go with them. That's the first thing I'd say. Any questions about that? No, is it listening well? Right. All right. These are just some things I think we covered. We covered some of it. So use financial aid to pay. We covered that. You can definitely mostly use your financial aid. Every once in a while, there's like a random grant or scholarship that's like book a week. But any federal aid can be applied because it covers your college expenses. Switching apartments if you don't like your roommates. That's another difference between on-campus housing and living in commons and courtyards. On campus, you have that like switching period that you can kind of move around. Remember, with this, even though we're friendly and all resident life and capstone are friends, you're still signing a lease, and that's a legally binding contract. So in order to change that situation, you would have to find somebody to take over the lease before you could move out or move somewhere else. Does that make sense? We have mixed gender housing at Commons and Courtyards. It's a slightly different process. If anybody's interested in that, we'll kind of peel off and talk about kind of how that works. But basically, you fill out the leasing application, and then there's a separate mixed gender application to fill out. And then that's kind of, most of it's kind of handled manually. A lot of communication, but it is an option if you're interested. There's information on the Res Life website about it that will be updated since the application isn't live yet, but it will be hopefully the next week. And then if you end up going through that process, we have a separate meeting about selection and stuff. Another frequently asked question that we get that's not on here, I just answered an email about it, so I'm thinking about it. It kind of goes with the switch department question. If you are planning to study abroad, say in the spring of 2021, you can still sign a lease for fall. You would just have to find somebody to take over your lease for the spring. So that you, in order to avoid paying when you're not living there. You can do that if you want. But to avoid that, making those extra payments, you would need to find somebody to take over your lease. However, while you're abroad, you would still be considered a resident, so you would be able to come back and go through the renewal process and everything. Same as now, like if any of you are planning to study abroad in the spring, you're still considered an on-campus student. So you won't lose your priority if you study abroad this spring.
Eventually abroad for fall of 2020, would it be the same thing? You just have to have some exterior lease.
I wouldn't sign a lease if you're gonna do that, because you wouldn't move in. You would have to find somebody to take it right away before you even move in. If you're studying abroad in the fall. But what you would do when you come back is find somebody to release from, and then you could renew for the following year. So yeah, you just wouldn't move in early enough to have it worthwhile. But if you have friends, a lot of students will have kind of link up with friends that they know are studying abroad at different times. So like your friend signs a lease for the fall but knows they're studying abroad in the spring. Like you guys can communicate, and when you come back, you can release from them. So a lot of students will do things like that.
However, like, if you can't find a group that fully like fits into the department that you want, is there like the matching process to find more people?
There's not a matching process. What we do is kind of the reverse matching. What you would do if you're by yourself, you would find a apartment that only has one vacancy, and then you can look up the information on the returning roommates. So yeah, that's a great question though. We ask students to fill the space based on your group size. So if you're a group of 2, you could either go to a 2-bedroom, or if you want a 4-bedroom, you would find a 4-bedroom with 2 returning spaces. So 2 spaces taken and 2 spaces empty, and so on and so forth. So like, two people can go in a completely vacant.
And if we're releasing and their lease was lower than the one that it currently is, do we still pay that or do we pay the new?
If you're releasing, you pay whatever the price is for that leasing year. So for that unit type. So when you release, you take over the lease for the rest of the leasing term. So it would be whatever they're paying. So this is just some important dates. So the application goes live tomorrow. Feel free to just fill it out and forget it. But the deadline to keep your priority is March 1st, so make sure you at least have it done by then. And then on March 13th, your your leasing numbers and appointment times will be posted. That's right before you go on spring break. And then I think the Friday before that, I'll send you an email saying, this is what I think your priority is, and hopefully you all agree. That would make my life easy. Yeah.
I have two questions. Sure. The first one is, is there a priority if we fill out the application tomorrow versus March 1st?
No, we're just collecting applications. Yeah, there's no priority. That's a good question, though, kind of leads into another. So priority is completely random within your group. So all of you would be randomized because you're all on campus rising juniors. It is based on priority points too. Most students have the same number of priority points because it's based on how many semesters you've been in on-campus housing. You can lose priority points by getting in trouble and getting sanctions and things like that. You can gain priority points by serving on your hall councils, things like that. But usually it's a tiny group on either end. Most people are just randomized at the same priority point level.
Okay, other question, do we have to, when we fill out this application, do we have to know like, who we want to room with?
Nope. No, every individual has to fill it out themselves, and you don't have to list any roommates. And that's mainly because we don't know what's going to happen at open leasing. You might start out with a group of 2, and then when you get there, there's no 4 bedrooms in building 7, and I have to live in building 7. So then you might split up. If that happens, you need to kind of reassess people's priority numbers and leasing appointments. So like if the 4 of us are a group and you're like the leader, you have the best number, we're going to start with you. But then if we have to split up, you 2 split and we 2 split, then we'll have to figure out who's better, who's got the better time.
So you would go,
So we would-
whoever has the best number, you go to their appointment.
Yeah.
You can't jump in the levels, but you can like jump in within your own level.
Yes. Yes, I'm here to do this. Yes, you can move around within your level. So if you're this is a great group to do the examples with. So yeah, like if you're 1 and you're 7 and you're 580, well, they're doing it in order now. Forgot. You're 582. This isn't an example, isn't working very well. And you're 10, and you 2 want to live together. Mix up. Yeah, so you can mix up within your, I didn't practice that example very well. But yeah, so basically like within the group there's cutting, but there's not group cutting. Does that make sense? Yeah. Thank you. So the first one, you guys are getting a good one today.
How does moving in early work?
Doesn't exist.
Okay.
But you're already moving in early. You're moving in before residence halls.
So,
Actually, that's not 100% true, but. Any other questions? We got the dates, these are the move-in, move-out dates, for next year. But you'll hear more about that after your leases. There are gonna be tours offered in next year. If you wanna, look at and see what the different apartments look like, I really encourage you to do that. Unless you have friends at both properties, but check out both properties. I think they both have a lot of great merits. And it's a good idea to look at both and see what's the best fit for you. And overly,
One thing really important, the application goes live tomorrow. Officially, that's kind of like we're announcing it. It's actually already live right now tonight. There is no obligation to fill out this application. What it does is it makes you eligible to participate in open leasing. So you can decide tonight to fill it out and complete the application, and then Saturday say, I'm not gonna actually do that. That's fine. You don't have, there's nothing else that you have to do once you fill out the application. It's just making you eligible come March if you still want to live at South Campus Commons or the Courtyards. There's no money being asked or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. You have this window starting now through March 1st to do it. Go ahead and get it done and knock out the application. It should take like 5-ish minutes. That does not include the $25 application fee. That is only collected when you come to open leasing to sign the lease. All this does is make you eligible to participate in open leasing. There's no money being, the $25 and the $300 lease reservation cost all gets done when you sign the lease at open leasing. None of that is needed now.
So your priority number determines which time and date you would go to open leasing?
The too many terms that sound the same. So you have a priority group, and you have a leasing number. So your priority group is sort of the initial signifier of where you are in line, and your leasing number corresponds with an appointment time. There are several of the same appointment times, so there might be 25 4:00 appointments, and then that's where the numbers come in. So there's sort of different ways for grouping, but really the the leasing number is the most important information when you want to show up on time too. But that kind of is what gets you in line. That's how we sort that out.
How often do rising juniors like apply to live but then not get it?
It's usually if the on-campus rising junior does not sign a lease, it's usually their choice. They either decide that they make other plans. If every on-campus rising junior signed a lease, we would run out. Because there's usually about 1,300 to 1,500 spaces that are vacant for open leasing, and usually around 2,000 on-campus rising juniors that apply. But in the past several years, there have been spaces available for even the off-campus group. So then what it comes, so juniors, I wouldn't worry. It's more about how specific you are. Like if you're like, I want to live in Commons, you're probably going to find something. If you're like, I want to live in building 7 on the 4th floor in a corner unit, we can't promise that, even as a resident. We don't know what current residents are going to do. But yeah, that's a question we get all the time, particularly from off-campus students who have friends that are on campus, because they have to go with the off-campus group. But really, it's hard to tell. Every year, I've been in this for, this will be my 4th year, I think, and in this position and many other years before, and it's different absolutely every year. So what's nice is that we have tools, and I send updates after each night of open leasing to just let people know kind of where we're at. And also, this is a good thing for this group to know. Don't freak out if your appointment is on the 2nd day. It's just a numbers game. We can only have so many appointments on each day. So invariably, I try to get as many juniors on the first day as possible without wearing out the capstone staff. So there is a chance that your appointment will be on the 2nd day, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get it. It's kind of how the numbers work.
I have 2 questions for you all. So Courtyards and Commons are always 100% occupied, but we do students who offer the locations to do tours. So if you all want to do tours, what is the first tour date available to do a tour? January 29th. Oh, there you go. Here you go, get a chair. All right, one more question. So, how much does it cost to fill out the application? 0.
Come back tomorrow. right, if there aren't any other questions, is anybody interested in staying for mixed gender talk? Okay, why don't we talk over there? That sounded weird, I'm sorry. We'll go over there and chat.
Myself, Talia, Sarah, we can all ask questions to the side. If you guys have individual specific questions, we can help you out.
And then the other group is sitting over there, if you have any questions, again.